Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy and welcome to another episode of Foundation Friday for over 50s. I have been cranking out the Foundation Fridays for the last few weeks and I've got another one for you today. This one is a twofer because I'm going to let you know right up front, both these foundations were kind of epic fails for me and I hate to spend a whole video on one foundation that I didn't like, so I'm going to mash these two together. They were foundations that I had such high hopes for. But I hated them both so much that I'm not wearing either of them to do the review. You'll get to see plenty of it in the daily footage. But what I am wearing today, of course, is my Holy Grail Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet Foundation. This is the Holy Grail for me. And when I try things like this, they just make me go running back to this. And I'm like, oh, I love you. Let's go into it. I'll put a time code in the information box to show you what time Hourglass starts. I am going to do Kosas first. So if you are only interested in this one, you can check out and see where the time code is for this so that you can start there. I'm going to try to keep this brief since I already told you I hated them both. But I did manage to wear this one for 3 days. Go figure. I did this one for 2 days. I got the sunshine test and everything on this one. So it might be a long video. I'm going to try to keep it short, but we'll see what happens. But where you're getting 2 for 1, it's okay if it's a little longer, right? Right. Okay, so what you need to know about my face before we go into it is that I have combo skin. I'm 56 years old, a little oily in the T-zone, dry around here usually, and normal the rest of my face. So the first foundation is not really a foundation, even though, well, no, technically it is a foundation because they call it a foundation, but it's also called a tinted face oil. Anyway, its name is Kosas. It is the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. This retails for $42 and you get 1 ounce of product and it comes in 10 shades. So this is a really interesting product. According to the company, it is a featherweight medium coverage foundation that is also a deeply hydrating skin elixir. It has 3 types of mineral pigments and they're delivered in a base of 6 botanical oils to instantly even skin tone, minimize...
I don't know that.
Alexa, stop listening. What was I even talking about? She's so disruptive. Base of 6 botanical oils to instantly even skin tone, minimize pores, and erase imperfections. And you know, who doesn't want that? It's also supposed to have a self-adjusting color with a velvety finish that requires no blending, and you're supposed to be able to put it on in 10 seconds and it's supposed to give you all day wear. So they are really promising me everything in this. The 6 oils that this has in it are jojoba, avocado, meadow foam, tea, rose hip seed, and raspberry oils. This also contains mainly coconut esters, some silica, some mica, some kaolin, which is clay, and a little bit of vitamin E. Kosis is a cruelty-free brand. This product is also vegan and gluten-free. It's free of parabens, silicone, sulfates, phthalates, mineral oil, PEG, and petrolatum. So what they recommend for applying it is that you shake it well. You use 2 to 4 drops for medium coverage and 4 to 6 drops for fuller coverage. The shades that I bought this in are 03, let me bring in the swatches, which is light with neutral undertones, and 04, which is light medium with warm undertones. All right, so let's go into the daily footage. For day 1, I had on my normal sunscreen, which is a mixture of Elta MD UV Elements SPF 44 and Paula's Choice Super Light SPF 30. So I was very concerned about how this was going to interact with my sunscreen, if it was going to remove it, because oil is what I use to remove my sunscreen. Because as you know, sunscreen is my #1 anti-aging skincare product. Because you guys want a review on it, I'll do it anyway. So I tried it over sunscreen the first day. I didn't use primer. I used shade 03 first, which as you can see is a little bit too light for me. Then I decided to switch to shade 04, but mixing them together on my skin as I did, it still looked a little bit too light. So applying 2 coats of this, I used 4 to 6 drops each coat. And that gave very little coverage. I mean, 4 to 6 drops was supposed to give me more than medium coverage. To me, this looks like absolutely 0 coverage. In the claims, we heard that it is going to even your skin tone. It didn't do that. We heard that it's going to minimize your pores. It certainly didn't do that. And it says that it's going to erase imperfections. Nope, imperfections not erased. all of the above still very visible on my skin. It's also settled into my pores, giving me that white polka dot pores, which doubly accentuates them in a doubly bad way. The pigment seems to have settled into every dent and every crevice on my face, which makes it look really mottled and really spotty up close. I think it actually made me look worse than I did without it, but to try to save the day and make it wearable, I did add a layer of Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in the shade 2, which helped to mattify my T-zone, mattify the shine, and disguise the texture on my skin a little bit. But unfortunately, it was no match for those polka dot pores. They could be seen right through the powder, and the modeling on my forehead was still very visible. So I wasn't happy with how it looked. I didn't want to go I didn't want to go around looking like that all day, so I washed my face. And plus, I was afraid that it had taken off my sunscreen, and I had things to do outside and I wasn't going out without sunscreen, so I washed my face, reapplied my sunscreen, went about my day. End of day 1 with the Kosas. All right, so for day 2, obviously I wanted to try it without sunscreen just to see. So I waited for a day that I had just colored my hair in the late afternoon. It was like 6 o'clock, the sun had gone down. I had just taken a shower, so I was able to apply it without putting on my normal skincare, because I had done that in the morning, and when I shower midday like that, I don't reapply all my skincare. So I just put it right on with my fingers, trying to do that 10-second application, and I used the shade 4. So I applied 4 to 6 drops. I applied it with my fingers. Oh my gosh, can you guys hear the wind? I don't know if you can hear it. It's like howling wind outside today. So sunscreen was not the problem. It looked exactly the same as it did before. And I'm so bummed, because I really, really wanted to like this one, and I really wanted to be able to recommend it to you guys, because I know a lot of people who watch, don't really like to wear a lot of makeup, and we're just looking for something that's just going to make our skin look a little bit better and also have some skin loving ingredients to it. And I think some of those oils are really good for your skin. It's clinging to the side of my nose where I have like dry skin in there. I mean, what the heck is going on with this stuff? So anyway, I washed my face again. Am I a glutton for punishment or what? I gave it a 3rd shot, because I was like, oh no, people are going to complain that I didn't wear it. Maybe after you wear it for a little while, it like settles in and normalizes and, melts into your skin and looks magically amazing. I don't know, but what the heck. I tried it again. I thought, let me try it with primer. I used my normal sunscreen, but then I used the Laura Mercier foundation primer over the sunscreen so that this wouldn't take the sunscreen off. I was trying to go for something that had a little bit of a film former in it, and sadly, exact same thing. It looked exactly the same as the other 2 days, but I decided that I would put it to a wear test and let you guys know how it wore, even though it was so awful looking. Don't ask me why. More bad news. I actually went out and ran errands in this. Oh my God. I get home, I come back in front of the camera. Not only does it look as bad as it did before, but now it's sliding around in big clumps all over my forehead. It looks like I asked my dog to put my makeup on me, and this is the result I got. Like, there's some dirt stuck to it. It's in big patches. It's worn off in big patches. It just is the worst looking stuff. I can't even tell you. So anyway, the Kosas, it wasn't just like a little disappointing, or here's the pros and the cons, and there were more cons than I like, and maybe you should try it. This was an absolute no-go for me. I mean, on the Kosas website, it's all these 20-year-olds in their workout gear, like doing jumping jacks. So I think you have to have young, perfect skin to have this do anything for you and not settle down into the deeper recesses of your skin. But if you're older and you have deeper recesses, it's just no good. I don't know. I don't know if it's just my skin. Let me know. Let me know if you've tried it. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you had the same experience as me, or if you had some wonderful magical experience with it. All right, so let's move on to the Hourglass foundation. This is their Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. It's $56 for 0.84 ounces. They don't even give you a whole ounce for that amount of money. And it comes in 32 shades. Sorry, I'm mad at you already, so you're not getting any love from me today. Hourglass says that this is the future of foundation, and if it is, oh my God, God help us. Please don't be the future of foundation. I can't take it. It is a highly concentrated liquid designed to deliver instant full coverage with just a half a pump. And it doesn't need any primer, and they say it doesn't need any setting powder either. It is supposed to be a weightless second skin, creating a smooth and flawless complexion. Why do I fall for this junk? I don't know. I mean, I don't believe it. I'm always hopeful though. something that is one day actually going to give me a smooth and flawless complexion. I cannot wait. Can someone please deliver on that out there? This offers fade proof all day, 24-hour wear in a waterproof, transfer-proof, sweat-proof foundation. It comes in a really heavy frosted glass bottle with a pump. Actually, the thing I like best about this foundation is the shape of the bottle. It's a water silicone and isododecane base with a lot of silicones. It also has some waxes in it and some mica. It is free of alcohol, parabens, phthalates, sulfates, talc, and it's also cruelty-free. For the application, Hourglass recommends that you don't use a primer or a setting powder. They want you to apply half a pump for the full coverage using a brush or a sponge. For the swatches on this one, I have to show you the shade Nude, which is light medium with neutral undertones, and light beige, which is supposed to be medium with cool undertones. As you can see, these run very yellow, very warm, very orange. The cool one especially, how is this even cool? And how is the neutral one even neutral? So for day one, I had to mix the two shades together to see if I could get something wearable. And as you can see where I'm applying it, nope, this is not wearable for me. It is very yellow, very orange. I did apply the half a pump that they recommend over my usual sunscreen with no primer. I used a soft dome brush to apply it all over my face, and as they say, a little of this stuff definitely does go quite a long way, but I wouldn't say that half a pump was enough to cover my whole face. It is a little bit difficult to work with. I'm not sure that it dries that quickly because it still felt tacky to me afterwards, but it just is not very spready. It doesn't have that kind of lovely glide over the skin, and so it's really hard to blend it out. As you can see, the entire top of my forehead, there is no coverage on there. So I did add a little bit more with a blending sponge around, the top of my forehead and the edges of my face to cover all of my skin. Definitely did not deliver on full coverage with a half a pump. It's a heavy, sticky feeling foundation. This felt to me like a mask of makeup. It felt waxy and heavy, and it wasn't doing anything to blur or perfect my face either. My pores and my wrinkles look exactly the same, if not worse. It has a luminous finish, so it is accentuating texture, but I did powder my T-zone, and with the rest of my makeup on, I thought it looked okay enough that I actually wore it out to brunch with my daughter, who didn't mention my foundation at all because I think she was trying to be nice to me. When I asked her about it later, I was like, oh honey, what do you think of this foundation? Because I've seen myself in a few mirrors and I think it looks pretty good. It's not bothering me. She goes, you do? And I was like, oh God, why? She's like, well, number one, the color, and number two, it just looks really heavy. I guess I was trying to like it and trying to feel good about myself, but in fact, it just didn't look great. So anyway, we were out for most of the day, but I did come back for a 6.5 hour check-in on it, and it seemed to have oxidized more and more throughout the day. From a distance, I thought it looked okay from a wear standpoint. It was still mainly in place, but up close, you could see that it had settled into wrinkles. It had gathered in my nasal labial folds, and it's also wearing off. So I came back again for a 12-hour check-in. At 12 hours, it looked just like the Kosas did up close. It had sunken down into every pore and every crevice on my face. It had settled into wrinkles, and it looked just awful. So I wore it for a second day. I used my usual sunscreens, but I decided to try it with primer this time, even though they didn't recommend it. I wanted to try primer with it because it didn't wear well and it didn't look good and it settled into everything. So I was like, maybe a primer will help it. Who knows? I used the Cover FX gripping primer on one side. I used the e.l.f. Prep and Blur Stick on the other side. I applied it with my fingers on one side. Ugh, what a mistake. That was horrible. I applied it with the sponge on the other side. Then I went back over the finger side with just a damp sponge. It looked heavy and waxy, and it settled right into all my wrinkles. I did go outside with it on and do the sunshine test and the kitchen test, and it looked gross in both those kinds of light. It just looks so heavy and waxy. My texture was so accentuated, so front and center. I did wear it all day though. I came back for the 5-hour check-in. It was starting to slide around on my forehead and around my nose on both sides, so both the primers didn't help it. I definitely believe them when they tell you not to use this one with a primer because primers just make it look disgusting with within 5 hours and also within 2 minutes. So I came back for a 10-hour check-in. It was a hot mess then too. I couldn't wait to take it off. And so I just was not going to be wearing it again. This just isn't a foundation that's for me. I do not like it. I do not recommend it. Again, would love to hear from you guys if you've used it, what you thought of it. Let me know. On the list of all the foundations I've tried, they're going to go down in the way low epic fails, but you can look for them there if you want. The best way to find if I have reviewed a foundation that you're looking for is to type in Hot and Flashy and the name of the foundation in the search box on YouTube, and that will bring up my review on it. And I will leave you with this one closing thought on this one, which is that life's too short for bad foundation, so that's why I put these both to bed early and went back to my tried and true. So if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As always, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.